I'll be right back. Well, it's the same trade from yesterday at the 20s. I'm just still holding a runner. So I swung it from yesterday at 20s. Not sure if you guys were here on the stream yesterday, but pretty much just held the same position from yesterday on the big pop we had late day. And gonna wait for another opportunity to add to this trend. Right now, we're pretty extended. Gonna see how the first hour plays out as we head in and we form the IB for the day. But we're pretty stretched. This is a pretty big gap up here. We'll see how we hold up, and we might not get an ad. We'll see. We'll see. We're above all the call walls. I refreshed it already, right? There's a weekly call wall right there in like 69.70, and that's where the gap pretty much is. I might just scale there. Yeah, that's the high. Okay. I might just scale there once we get there, or if we get there today, the 70s, that last runner. I'll kind of reset from here. think we have data in a few. Oh, we're almost there. 70s. All right. think you about to hit that flip level. Flip rips below here. That daily flip, which is right here at 580s, it's gonna flush further, or it's gonna bounce here. That flip, if you hold below it, they start to sell the rips below the 580 on the Nasdaq. If they can defend it, they'll bounce it a little bit here in the open. We can reclaim the 40s here. I'll probably buy, but for a short-term 10-point move. But this is selling off. NQ's recovering the flip here and the call. We'll see if it holds, but if we can hold this, we should get a mean reversion to see if we can reclaim this area. It's trying to rip, but they keep selling into it. Might fail. Nasdaq's doing pretty good here on the recovery. Yeah, the NQ did the perfect bounce right there at this area. The flip zone. Why want to break it lower? Yeah, it's breaking down. They're not able to reclaim the 40 here. You can put in a fit breakdown there. I'll try it, but I don't think we can sustain this move. They're gonna fail here. Come down a little lower. Ugh. And we got data in a few minutes here. See what the market does, but overall, not like it wants to head lower. Just a little bit. Good morning, Gabriel. What's up, man? How are you doing? How you been? Yeah, it's been a minute, I know. How you been, brother? I'm great, thank you. How's your holidays? Or a year, I guess. It's been some time. Been chaotic, okay. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I hope it's been good overall. From retirement income. Got it. That's good, I think. I'm not sure. How's that going for you? I hope well. Been a slow progress. Good. I mean, you can't use Jigsaw. I mean, what do you want Jigsaw for the dog? Ugh. That's great. Really good. You I know previously you were doing some sort of a passive limit buy at certain areas of interest that you had. Same process, or you were using the profile, I believe. You're still working on that? Cool. Oh, it looked really good. As far as like the appearance of it, I don't remember what it was. I think it was a profile. You had it on gold and a couple others. Hmm. TPO and combination volume profile, yeah. It's really good, honestly. That's what I have as well. Before I incorporated it and actually amazing to use as a guideline or guardrails. You use the weekly frame on those, right? 540. And where the IBL is right now? Yes, weekly. Yeah, I think weekly is the best too. I have one here. It's a weekly profile too. I've compiled a couple, but yeah. I just think it's kind of hard to want a long week on the week right now, given how far away we are from value. You know, like at least on the S&P, as you can see, the value is like still another 10 points lower. So I mean, I don't know if I even want it long here. I'm betting that we're gonna remain imbalanced, meaning they're gonna continue to take this higher into last week's value. And yes, it can happen, but the probability of that, you need aggressive buying past value. It's a hard trade, honestly, to justify for me, given how far we are from the weekly value already, and it's Thursday. Like the prices are not that fair up here. I do take something on the. I have a swing trade on the Dom on Jigsaw that I took yesterday at 68.26, and I just have a runner now. But if I do add, it's gonna be a small bit. I'm not sure if you remember. I think for a period of time you also had the gamma levels, the gamma levels on the SPX and the E, and I think it was just SPX. Well, I have them here. I've been able to code them and put them into Sierra. I have the gamma levels, the gamma flip. So right now, technically, NQ is imbalanced down sell side. I have to update the options chain here in a bit, but as long as we're below the 580, market makers are net sellers. The algo. Oh, I stopped using it. I mean, I could technically have fixed, probably tinkered it with more, but I don't even, the parameters that I have set on it are still relevant, but at the same time, I needed to get it coded more to fine tune on the higher time frame, and I just didn't do it. I still have the code and everything. I just don't have it posting anymore. I tried messing with it for a while, using using Gemini to code it a little bit, but it's, I mean, I don't know, it's not the best coding thing, and it's just back and forth, and it was a lot of work. Honestly, it's really time consuming. I just spent my time doing something else instead, like creating code for these gamma levels and stuff like that instead. Um, so I just kind of threw in the towel on that. I have the code. At some point, I'll pick up on it and maybe bring it back, but at this time, I just felt like my time was used best elsewhere. The prior week low at 23 on S&P. See how we do that. I would like to see this maybe tap here and then reclaim 34 or something like that. Hit the prior week low and then reclaim the 34. Maybe the 42. We'll see. 913 is the other level, which is the overnight low, which is also the Valley Area high. You know, there's some confluence there to some extent. Right here. Weekly Valley Area high. Here. And it's also the overnight low. It's a good experience. Yeah, I learned a lot from trying to do all that. It's definitely a different language. Very time consuming. But right now I have three different codes that I have right now that launch automatically for myself. I have a task scheduler. And it runs the options chain for weekly and daily levels, and then it runs the options chain for a few different stocks that I watch too for their options chains, and it just kind of plots them on my Sierra chart thereafter. And then around midday, give or take, like 9 a.m., I will refresh the options chain, and then I'll refresh the levels. Hey, let's see if NQ can reclaim that spot. That 580 flip, it keeps it remaining between below the call wall and then the flip. As long as it holds below that, we can go down further. I was thinking price is not likely to break down below the structure from yesterday, New York session. Like, you mean like below 840s, or what would that be on the NQ? 25 200s or so? Righties. Yeah, I mean, so there's a failed breakdown structure there. I mean, as long as that holds, we're technically in an uptrend from whatever happened Friday to now. I agree. That structure should hold. It's a failed breakdown. Tape slowed down a lot. I don't know what they're waiting for. It seems like we're either going to sell off or pump here because the tape is just dead. It's like not even late. It's 7:13. I'll try a bid here. Tape look just like died and then it started to push up. See if I can get 10 points on this, but weird little pause here. I would think they would reclaim, but the NQ, oh, here it is. So NQ is rejecting this area here. It needs to get over this. You can see how important that flip area is. They rejected it immediately on this little pop again. If they don't get over that, I'll probably get stopped out on this one, but yeah, they're getting rejected. It's going lower. That daily flip is a major resistance still. Over that flip. We'll see. It's coming again, but been rejected the past couple of times right here. This area. Five, 4, 9. Yeah, I mean, if it gets over 80s, you should get a relief bounce. I don't know if it can, though. That's what you can see. NQ is struggling right there at the 80s. That's where that flip is. If it holds over that, then we should be able to backtest the 670, somewhere around there. We broke down from this morning. Where's the IB? 15 minutes to the IB is set. Like, yeah, assuming we hold here above this area, then the target should be the IB high, 732. something like that. But it's still, IB's not been set yet. We still have about 14 minutes. I also started adding there's statistical probabilities that I found a sheet of. I don't know if you have it, but there's statistical probabilities of certain levels hitting on any given day. Levels that as they relate to the IB high or low and the overnight high or low. You don't have the list. No. If you email me, I'll send it to you. Yeah, that 34 area is a brick fucking wall, and the 80 area on the NQ. It's gonna fail if it continues to reject like this. Yeah, that's the third fucking rejection on the Nasdaq. That level is a brick wall. They're selling right into it. I'm gonna fucking flatten this thing out, dude. I'm gonna let this thing stop me out for no reason. It's still rejecting. You can clearly see that this area needs to reclaim. If it reclaims, I'll definitely bid again, but for now, it's just keeps rejecting it. The brick wall. That's where market makers are net short below that flip. And then the trade that I have on the Jigsaw Dom, that's more of a swing trade. I'm trying to see if I can get a bid on it. But I'm not interested in bidding here on that swing trade at all. Holding again, here it goes. Trying to hold. It's coming back. Yeah, it already came out like 19 minutes ago. Like, I mean, for sure. I mean, look, like I said, we're above value. I mean, look at where we are on the weekly. It's not something you can easily just get fluid moves out of. Once market gets up here, moves are they're not very fluid. Now it's a reason that it's a value area high is the color that it is because there's not a lot of volume transacting away from value most times. Right? There's like very few volume and very few time spent, very little time spent here. So I don't really anticipate there being anything interesting today, which is why I'm not adding to my swing trade until we go lower. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of the area again. It's not a lot going to happen after such a big move. They're reclaiming. If they get above it, I'll buy the momentum on S&P for a short trade here. Sierra. Prior week volume. You're holding your 30s. Okay. The prior, but what is your conclusion when looking at the prior week value? Yeah, it's hitting the prior week value low. That's necessarily, shouldn't that be resistance or support or the overlap? It's either resistance, support, or acceptance. And if it's acceptance, then it takes time for it to accept value and then kind of traverse back into it. Because right now, I mean, as long as we're above 23 on the S&P, right, below 23, then technically there's acceptance above last week's value, and we should traverse and meet and touch this daily flip area, right? The 70s. That's the value area low. It's also a options flip, level. So I agree, but that's where you need to hold. As far as it relates to the S&P, I don't know where it is on the Nasdaq. I don't look at their profile. I tried looking at the Nasdaq profile. Things it's not the cleanest thing. Kind of messy. And I'm above 80. Let's see if it can hold here. 80. Yesterday's pop, yeah. I mean, it was a very good, large move. A thing that sketches me out is I've seen this structure before, and I'm always hesitant when we have a like large body sell, because typically what ends up happening is we end up in a large range like this. So my assumption when I see this is likely that we do something like this, where we just chop around a massive range for a little bit until we break away again. But I'm just, that's just kind of similar to this, right? We had like a large range within it, where we definitely are above it now. And then we're back above, we're trying to break away, but it's always trappy when they do that. See, look at this. Back below the 80 again, dude, on the Nasdaq. This hole on a higher time frame looks like a fucking trap. They tapped me up and rejected. Was up yesterday down to finished up 3. Well, I'm glad you finished green, but that kind of swing, that's crazy. Yeah, the NQ completely failed. Let's see if it does a failed breakdown here, but it failed completely at the 80s. It flipped again. What I'd like to see is this probe here, break below and then hold, and then try to break out again. Price might sweep. I mean, I don't know if it will. I would like it to. It would look like a failed breakdown. Cluster of lows, break, sweep, and then reclaim, and then hold over 80. That'd be a nice one. Yeah, all the equal lows. Typically, they sweep the lows. You know, when you have equal lows like that, they sweep them, and then if they reclaim, then that's a setup within itself. If they sweep them, and then reclaim. They gotta reclaim them. If they do, then it's definitely a setup. Back over 80. Just some what is it, like random volatility? A weird spot. Back over the 80 again. And back, yeah, see? And they squeezed it. So what I would do here at this point is like, that's going to be a reference level for later today. If this ends up holding, and we start to trade into 70s here, then this ends up being a setup later today if this doesn't sweep. I would wait for a sweep of this and then reclaim and then for a long. It'd be good for entry, maybe 60s, just to make sure it reclaims, and then target 660, the back test of this breakdown. Right here, back test here. Since it broke down, back test to see if it becomes resistance or acceptance, see if it becomes support. This area. This area will either be resistance or it'll be support, and they'll accept it and then break back into the highs. Comes, I don't know what the order block means, but whatever. If it means the same thing that I said, then yes. I don't know what that means. The same thing. Okay. Of all the rejections, yeah. That's the thing, is that level. I mean, again, it's a flip area. So if they hold below it, it's definitely bearish. And it's the flip area for the market makers as it relates to the option chain. They're selling underneath it, and then above it they have to bid. And another dip. I'm telling you, today is not going to be an easy day to trade. The easy day was Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Monday and Thursday. Today, these days are not the best. Monday and Thursday are going to be very annoying and very difficult to maneuver. Yeah, it's going to be like that. Overall, the trend's up, so there's no reason to really be short biased, but it is something to be cautious around, and just understand, size for choppiness, that's it. Just size for it, or don't participate, but size for it is most important. Just knowing the environment, the bed, kind of the environment you're in and what to expect. So most times it's always best to just do something else in the meantime. If you're not going to move the stop and anything, you're not supposed to, then just let it chop around. I mean, find something else to work on. Sometimes I start doing other stuff because I have a lot of stuff that I need done. Um, so I begin to start doing side tasks sometimes just to avoid staring at this thing because it becomes noise. I'm not sure, you know, he kind of stepped out and then I never heard from him anymore. Followed up a couple times. Last time I heard from him, he was good. Go out for ice cream. Can't have ice cream right now at 7 in the morning, but it sounds like a great idea. Yeah, I just start doing other stuff, man. Like I have a few other charts I look at for some trades on individual stocks, and I just start looking at those instead while this plays out or does whatever it's going to do. You know, it'll decide if I'm right or wrong. My stop is where it is, and Meta's ripping today. I clean or start prepping for yeah. There you go. There you go. What other tick? What's the other one I was looking for? The job market has been horrendous, really, in your area or in general. I mean, I wish I can. I don't have any personal experience, but what I can say is the rental market has been very soft. So I have not seen anything like this in, I mean, since COVID. Truthfully, I have not seen this much softness in the rental market since the start of the pandemic. So I have some sort of data, not as it relates to jobs, but as it relates to rental markets, housing, and it's weak. It's a weak rental market, man. It is crazy. Don't get me wrong, it's not like there's a shift from single units to people moving in together. So there's like a frame shift, people moving with one another they would never do before. Wow, really? That's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I think it may be sector oriented, but then again, it could just be the whole market. I don't know for sure, to be honest. But I myself I see there's softness in the market too, in terms of rental. And I've never seen this either. This softness outside of COVID when that happened. That was an anomaly. So I can say the same. I've never seen anything like this. Normally, I would interview over a few months before deciding. So you had the upper hand. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's definitely an interesting market. Displacement. Wait, 1 year without anything. Wow. Yeah, it's quite a bit of time, man. Oh, the IB is set. Oh, all right, the IB high. What I'll end up doing is targeting the IB high. Since the IB is set for the session, and we're gonna break either the IB high or the IB low now. Ugh. Volume is very anemic here. You can see the DOM is like, it's flaring out as we get above 46 on the S&P. Not really telling that we're going to continue higher. This volume just starts to taper off as we go higher. So as we go past this point right here, volume is just tapering off on the DOM. I'm not gonna answer that. I mean, you should know where you have your target. I don't have. Here's it. I'm not gonna answer that because I don't agree with deciding because you're up a certain amount that you should call it quits or not. You should have an idea where you wanted to take profit before you took a trade. I don't think discretionarily exiting is ever a good thing. But if that's how you trade, by all means. I don't know what to say about that. What time frames? Oh, a lot of them. The ones on my screen here that you see is 3 minutes, and then the profile chart above that's a weekly, and then on the left screen I have a 2 hour, and then on the right screen I have a 4 hour. So multiple, I guess. I always have multiple time frames open. But as far as what you see here, it's the 3 minute time frame. Seven, 2, 5. Okay. I think chips are getting a bid too. I don't know if they were. Let me see again. I saw I got an alert that AMD had broke out. Yeah, AMD got a bid. And so did MU. Where's yeah, and then Nvidia looks like it wants to break out at 190. I'm using the weekly. I have a daily open too, but I don't. I do reference it. But I primarily look at the weekly DPO. The weekly. The best information for me is always on the weekly. The daily is good. Eventually the bubble will pop, and I'm looking forward to that day. I've never understood why you want the market to pop, to be honest. Like, even if it's true, I never understand why that's always something you look forward to. I do not. Like, do you know the amount of destruction that'll do to people's lives? There's people's retirements on those things. What if someone's nearing the age of retirement and the bubble pops? What about that whole generation or 10-year gap of people that lose their retirement that were hoping to cash out the 401ks to retire? Like, I don't know why that's exciting. You know, like the people nearing those ages of retirement where they're relying on that cash that they've been saving and investing for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Do you consider that? Like, I'm just questioning your frame of thought. Like, I don't know why that's something you look forward to. It makes me kind of hesitant. I'm using both monthly and 4 hour for swings. Yeah, I swing too, so I don't know. 4 hour block size. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it's best to swing from what I've come, the conclusions I made. A significant pullback. We just had one in April. We literally had one in April. Were you excited then in April? That was like that was one of the most historic sell-offs we've ever had. Like, it was the fastest, quickest correction we've ever had. It was a matter of 2 months. I think 3. You missed it. Huh. I'm new here. I'm subbing. Cool. But if you, what is your plan though? To short or to buy the dip? Because I think the best thing is to buy the dip. It's really hard to catch the short, to be honest. It was awesome. Yeah, well, yeah, buy the dip. I bought the dip for sure, and I told my brother and a couple friends to buy the dip, and it worked out really well. But it always makes me concerned because if if that pop doesn't recover, again, the biggest detriment is to those people that retire. They could be your parents, it could be your relatives, it could be a friend of a friend's mom or parents, or who knows. It's devastating. There was a recovery and it was made whole. Yeah. No, we're short market class. Yeah, yeah. It's scary for everyone. I mean, because then it's a reflexivity event. Like market crashes, then you get recession headlines, and then those recession headlines affect business spend. The business spend affects hiring, and the hiring affects consumer spend. That consumer spend, then it just kind of cycles. It's a vicious spiral, from top to bottom. Took the same. Honestly, I don't even recommend this long. If you're long, I mean, but um, it's not a high quality long for sure. Significant pullback action provided the market recovers. Yeah, yeah. We've had a few already. We had one in April, and then we had the one in October, right? That one was good too. We had a mild one, not really anything crazy, but in November as well. So we've had a few pullbacks. 6% on one. The other one was about 18 to 23%. I don't remember the exact amount. And then the one in November was about 5%. The one in October is 6% from highs. Yep. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Actively trading, yeah. I mean, I'm sure there'll be another. There's always some. At least once a year, we get some sort of near 10% correction, if not full 10. I mean, you've been here. Like before last year, it was the yen carry trade in August, right? That created a significant dip that had nothing to do with fundamentals of all these businesses that dipped. Um, and we'll have another one eventually with another reason this year. Who knows what it'll be? Jigsaw is not compatible. Yeah, I mean, if it's with like Fidelity or something, it's not going to be compatible. Yeah, Nasdaq's going to break down. It's probably not going to work out yet. Couldn't quite even backtest the breakdown yet. I'll probably just come below at 36. Right below VWAP. VWAP's at 42. I just started swing trading with this prop firm. And they actually provide swing trading accounts. I just got 2 payouts from them already, and they do them pretty quick within 1 day. Submitted it yesterday at night after market close, and I got paid already. Fidias. So here, check it out. Here's the 2 payouts so far. I requested them and they did them. This is over the weekend, but they do it right away. I'm transferring over the money right now. They paid me this morning on Rise. But it's Fidias. I put in, if you want to use my promo code, feel free, but it's that one. My promo code is TWR. Once they paid me out, I requested a code from them. Yeah. Once I figured that it worked, like I got the payout and requested it, I asked for a code from them over the weekend, and I know they pay out and they do it pretty quick. I'm actually impressed with how quickly they process them. I'm requesting the withdrawal right now, but I just got their email. Most symbols they have? I mean, what do you trade? They have, I mean, S&P, NASDAQ is pretty much what I trade. I don't know what else I can look, but I have one more account I'm trying to get a payout on. I'll probably end up getting it by Friday. Stocks? No, not with stocks. No, it's only futures. Got the payout here, and then I have one more account that I'm trying to request a payout in. It's this last one right here. These 2 I just got payouts in. They just got the account. This is the 2 that I got them in. I'm waiting for this one. I need to make $100 more, which we'll see if we get it by the end of the week or not. It's no big deal. If I hit another brick wall. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's the pre-market range we're in. Yeah, I'm gonna close this out. What I want to see is I'm planning this out. I want to see a failed breakdown of the IP low. So come down here, put in a failed breakdown. Same thing in this one. Let me refresh the options data actually. It might run and hit IV high. I'm totally fine with that too, but let me run the options chain and see what the levels are now. Okay. See if once they update, I'll update them here on my chart, but NQ looks like it's gonna put in that failed breakdown potentially at the IB low. We'll see if it does or doesn't. 920 is the flip. And then okay, let's update this here. Yeah, below 20s we sell off. And update this one. '70s, okay. The put wall isn't all the way to those are the 870s, so that kind of aligns with one of the plans I have here. 65. So if we dip down to 65, that's an area I'm definitely willing to add to my swing trade. But For now, I will just wait, chill. The only setup right now that makes sense is for us to test this prior week low on the S&P, which aligns with the value high for this week. The assumption would be we come back, we retest this area, reclaim about maybe 30s on a dip. This reclaim here. For a breakout continuation of the weekly time frame, right? So this would backtest the value high, assuming that we remain imbalanced here, like that. So we'll see if that comes back out and creates a failed breakdown or not. Where's the flip at now? It changed. Oh, below 440s. Like to see a failed breakdown of this, like, oop, come in, hold, long, right here. Failed breakdown. This is the prior week low right here. We'll see. I'm not sure if that sets up or not, but I'll be waiting. Because the MQ on the 15-minute frame looks exactly kind of like it wants to fail. You can see the NQ has a similar look to it, but it might want to do the failed breakdown at the overnight low. So like this, and then overnight low, reclaim that. So maybe take out this low and this low, who knows? Or maybe just this one, and then reclaim. But the NQ looks like it wants to kind of do a little bit of a run of this low and then reclaim. Well, we'll see if it reclaims, but ideally I would like it to reclaim. We got two. That's probably the best bet. Scale 2, hold 2 for the IB high. I still have a long. Again, I want to add to this trade because I'm going to be gone next week. I would like to swing it into next week, but it's definitely not going to be buying here. If I don't get an ad this week on this swing trade, then I might just hold it into next week and see where that goes. I don't trade gold. I don't even look at the chart. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't even know the price of gold. I only trade what I know, and I only know the S&P and the Nasdaq. That's it. I don't really like to mess with other tickers, to be honest. I do trade stocks. I guess I invest in those, but that's as far as my realm goes for that. Okay, I made a few trades. JC. An hour before New York, got it. Well, it's great, man. I don't really know gold too well. I don't know its tendencies or characteristics, so I don't really touch it or look at it. I've seen that it's traded all-time highs, and there's been a lot of hype around gold this past year. I think metals in general, but that's as far as I know. Oh. They're going for the IB high. Let me pull up the statistical probability sheet. Ugh. Here we go. So this is the statistics from probability statistics report from the S&P. And this is the one I was referencing that here we go. This statistic right here has a 90% probability on any given day. Overnight high or low touch. That already happened. We touched the overnight high at the open. And then at least one IB broke, whether IB high or IBL. Because he has 90+% stat that we either break an IB high or IBL on any given day, or we touch an overnight high or an overnight low. Not both. Hitting both is usually a 20% stat, and then hitting both on this is a 30% stat on the IB. Nice data, yeah. Well, that's the reason I was targeting the IB high on that trade. But I closed it. It probably was a mistake, but I should have known what you did. Oh god, I'm so fucking bored. Should have known what you did. It's probably just sell half and hold the other half. Yes, I want to go. Yeah. Oops, sorry. Targeting the gap on Monday. Oh. Those gaps are always very tricky to get, but good luck. Good luck. Just send me an email. Okay. There you go. Still long overnight. 490. Let's see, you got long near the low of the overnight. For the open. Well, that's a good trade. Or can I get a copy of those probability levels? Just email me. The email is somewhere in my about me on YouTube. Close the gap. Like the gap up. It's a slow grind day up so far. Might just be on a grind session. We're just casually going higher. Boom, boom, boom. It's gonna gradually just grind into the overnight high or the IB high. And Q's reclaiming that 670, 680 level. In Sacramento, I'm in Palm Springs. So quite not really close, but same state. In Palm Springs. Houston? I've never been to Houston. Unreasonably warm. You know what? I mean, it's warm here during the summer. Right now, it's pretty good. Oh, it's pretty good weather right now. Can't really complain. It's like 58 right now. What's the weather in Sacramento right now? Let's see. Supposed to rain today. What the hell? Oh yeah, it might rain tonight. 5% chance. Never mind. Sacramento. Let's see. Sacramento 45. High is 63, 60. That's pretty nice. Not too bad. Houston 63. Is it humid or something? I mean, this is pretty good. Oh, humidity's pretty high. Oh, you guys are getting rain and snow. Oh, okay. 40s? My. 40s? Sheesh. That's the high too. That's pretty cold. 45 and foggy. You know, I went to Seattle and it was like kind of similar weather that you guys have right now, I think. It was during September. I did not like the foggy cloudiness. Made me a little sleepy during the day. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of used to the sunlight. I'm not sure if Sacramento's relatively overcast often, but fresh weather is nice, but the lack of sunlight, something I didn't realize I would miss when I was in Seattle. But I've never been to Sacramento. Let's review the profile here. It's probably what I would be doing right now. Board. Overall, let's see. Failed. I'm not sure if you guys. So over the weekend on Friday, I posted that I was short and we had a potential failed breakout if we closed the week below 88. And then we gap down. I mean, I didn't expect that, but uh, so let's recap that. So on the newsletter, on 16th. Boom, boom, 16th. There we go. This one. Right here. I said market sentiment, blah, blah, blah. Point is here, as we pivot from all-time highs and multi-week balance for the first time since October highs, we are seeing a potential value trap at the multi-week high. Right here. And I pretty much stated that we would, if we close below 69.88.86, that we could transverse and come back down to 6,800s. 68.20 was the final target at the bottom end of the box, which is where we actually put the low end on the week. So where is it? This type of setup requires confirmation into next week, but the first red flag of a major high or low formed after a multi-week range is ready to break. So where is the plan here? I had bear plan. Here it is. Bear plan was break down below 69, 80, 88, and 90, 88, high weekly, high volume node, and break past down into 65, 60, 68, 65. If you guys look at that session, actually, I was short. And I took this trade Friday, and I swung the rest into the weekend, and we ended up getting a gap down. So I got a pretty good short trade there over the weekend hold. And then I got the long at the lows 20s. If you guys were here yesterday, you guys saw me take a long pre-market, and that was part of the plan. It was to get long at the 20s. I have the plan here. I gave a whole roadmap that I was looking at for trades. So we had the low volume node, I'm sorry, the value area low from 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. The idea was that we would test 25s and reclaim, and then hold 65s, 865, and then test the 800, 900 area. We blew past all that. Obviously, we're now above here, but that was definitely the roadmap I gave 2 days ago. This was the plan. Pretty good trading overall in terms of the week for me. That's the trade I have open right now that you see on the DOM is this the leftover of the runner that I have open. But let's recap what the profile looks like now so we can kind of go from there. I lived in Houston 97 to 24. Love that. Couldn't golf all year round. FM 1960. I don't know where that is. I'll have to look that up right now. What's your favorite time of the year in Sacramento? So right now we're holding this 2-week balance, which aligns with this week's value high. The ultimate bull case is any dips into this week and rest of week and next week, holding below at minimum 69.14, 69.12. As long as we form value over it, we should be able to continue this trajectory of going higher. So next week, ideally dips into this area between the 912, 915, holding so we can continue and then retest the high volume node low at 88, which aligns with the value high from this 2-week balance. This area is like a magnet more or less if we continue to hold here. So into next week, I'm not interested in buying here fresh longs or swings. I'm mostly interested around this area for longs into next week. As value shifts to the end of the week, if it shifts higher to around here, then my general lean would be anywhere within here, which would be 40s. Kind of where we put in the low this morning pre-market, depending on how this value area develops. So if it ends up being red around here, starts developing higher, then we'll lean on this area, more or less, into Friday and the next week. Love it when sunny. Winters and storms, not so much. Gotcha. Price top down. What are you looking for? Like a short, I assume, or short or long? I'm the only trade I'm really interested in is the same one I said earlier. This area right here. So ideally, we like come down on a vicious sell around here. Maybe even take out the overnight low. I don't know. Maybe go as far as the overnight low, but then reclaim above this cluster right here, the 570, 580 area where we struggled to get over. Kind of sell off, reclaim, then long, and then targets right here. That's the only setup that I would see for myself into the afternoon, midday. I mean, here it could fail, definitely, or it could go higher and test. We have yet to test the overnight high or the overnight low on the NASDAQ. And I just showed you the statistical probabilities that either one will trade on any given day. We could either trade the overnight high or the overnight low. And ironically, the IB is in between both of those two. We'll see. I'm not sure. In this area, it's it's a high risk, it's a high reward, low risk short. If you think we fail and we test the overnight low, because the overnight high is relatively close. It's about 60 points, give or take. About 60 points from the overnight high. And the downside is like about 100 points for the overnight low. But I'm not really, it's not my setup, so I'm not taking any of that. I'm taking the trade that I can see clearly that is in line with the trend currently. Is the color of this flip now? Sorry, this is gonna be a boring, for me. I'm just gonna chill till something happens. I can't really force a trade, and this is the majority of my trading here. Just sometimes sitting here doing nothing. I had a long and I closed it. A short-term trade it was, but a lot of my trading is like this now lately. I mean, I just pretty much gonna be using the rest of the session to kind of dictate where the next trade will be into tomorrow, and then I'll plan for it and we'll trade. Oh, we'll see. If we get a dip, I'll buy. If not, then we hold what we have, and we hold on and we hold. Yeah, I mean, honestly, ever since I started swing trading, it's been just way less stressful and just consistently green, 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 day over day. I don't have to force a trade. I already have a good entry. Just a matter of waiting for that next entry to present itself. And then I add a little bit more, scale out, hold a runner, let the thing trend if it's going to trend. Because more often than not, we trend up and we grind up for hours or days sometimes. And I have to do nothing. During that last week into the new year, I pretty much had one trade that went up from the end of December, like after Christmas, into New Year's, and did nothing. Am I using 4 hour? 2 hour, 4 hour in the volume profile. 2 hour, 4 hour volume profile, pretty much. So volume profile gives me the location, the area of interest, and if it aligns with the gamma level, even better. Like yesterday's trade lined up with the gamma level perfectly. The put gamma level, that put wall was at 68.20. The failed breakdown and the value low was at 68.25. Soon as I bid it, a little bit before the open, it ripped from 26 to 50. I scaled that at 50s, 850s, and then I held a runner the rest of the day. I scaled more at 75. And then I had the same trade that you see right now is open from yesterday, from yesterday's trading session. I haven't done anything else since then. But yeah, I use volume profile, gamma level, and then 4 hour, 2 hour just as a reference. But mainly the volume profile and the gamma. Weekly. It's weekly. I use the weekly. I have a whole chart book with volume, with all the volume profiles. I do look at them at the end of the week though. So when I do my weekly recaps, I do open up my weekly and monthly charts, and I start looking at the volume profile for the month, and I start looking at the weekly, and then the daily and session. I do occasionally look at these, maybe midweek, or if we had a big move, then I'll reference them earlier. If we don't have a big move, then I will wait till the end of the week. It depends, market dependent. And it's worked out pretty well. I think on the year, so far this year, I'm up about Do I hold trades over the weekend? Yeah, I mean, I just explained I was short over the weekend yesterday, last week on Friday. I was short from 69.88 on Friday, but it wasn't a full position. I scaled out at 75, 76 in late in the day. And then I held the rest over the weekend, and we gapped down to 9:30, 9:15. I sold a little bit, one contract of the few that I had at 9:24, 25, something like that, near the open. And then I held the rest for 1900, 6900, and then that was it. That 6900 hit when I was sleeping in the overnight session. It was a massive trade. I didn't expect a gap down, to be honest. The volume profile said short because there was trapped inventory. And then the volume profile said long near the 820s. And that's it, you know? So yeah, if you guys want to swing trade, again, I mentioned I have a prop firm that I requested 2 payouts from. On my third one, I'll probably have by tomorrow or Friday. Or tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow I might be able to request another payout, third one. Let me share that here. I just showed my, I had to log in. And they pay out, it process them in 1 day or a few hours. The longest process is when they send for you get your money from Rise to your account, but as far as them processing payouts, they do them instantly. Let me find the firm here. And again, those trades that I'm referencing, the short over the weekend and the long from 820s, they're up. I post those plans in advance. So here's the payouts from this. I just started with them. So I passed the account about begin mid-January, early January, and then they processed within a day. And they sent them out already. I have one more account that I need a request on. I have 3. We have this one I requested on. My profit on that one was I requested 1500, so it was 42.19. Well, actually, I made more money since then, but it was at 5,700 that one, and then this one was at 4,000. I just requested this one yesterday, and this one I need to make $100, whatever. I don't really care how much it is, and I'll be able to request on that one. Oh, let me share the link and stuff. Actually, I forgot to do that. Yeah, I've used true code TWR. This is, let me see their accounts. I'm good for dice. The one I have is, I think it's swing this one. There we go. I have the 50Ks, but they have a few. They have a 100K and 150K. And it's all only rhythmic, so I think they provide you deep charts if you do go with their DX feed. They provide you a platform. Either that or rhythmic, which I use rhythmic. There's a weekend hold. You can't hold more than 10 contracts or 10 micros over the week or over the close. But yeah. Just a slow burn into the IB high. Look at that. What a grind. You said short where? 5,900? Look, man, I don't know. I would say don't. I honestly just refrain from shorting in general. I mean, I see your idea here. I mean, it's a multi-week high. I would say no. I mean, there is an opportunity to short there, but I would say that you would need to see trapped inventory to accelerate the dip. So just because it taps the level or holds or whatever, it's not a good trade. You got to have some sort of inventory issue to short. You got to have a P profile, in other words, above 626K. So like if 26K is this level right here, let's just say it's this one here. This is 26K. I would have to see, I see your level you're trying to short. I would have to see a P profile, something like that. Or not even have to be, it could be a little lower, whatever. But the majority of the high volume is above here on the profile. You would need to see that form over a week worth of time, and then close below it. And then not even then would that be the short, but more or less maybe start the swing, and then the next week we open below it, and then the profile, it's very thin, so it tries to, in the beginning of the week, it tries to get over 26 and rejects, and then value starts to form below the Friday close, wherever the Friday close is. Does that make sense? It would require a few things for it to be a short just on that level alone. Like there's parameters that I would need to see for that to work. The first one would be the trapped inventory above the breakout. The second would be a close below on that same week of inventory having held above it. And then so the close below is step 2. So 1, inventory, 2, close below on the week. And then the next week you would have to see a retest of the 26K where all this inventory was. A very thin profile, meaning rejection, a little time was spent there. and then a daily Monday close below Friday's low, and that would probably, I would see more. See, so inventory needs to be loaded. Yeah, because you need inventory so that way it accelerates the move in that opposite direction, because that inventory is net long most likely, and if it's net long, the closing and holding below that value creates friction for those net buyers at the highs, and then they have to capitulate, which accelerates the sell-off. And the same thing is true on dips too. Like if you go back to my newsletter from mid-December, I said the same thing about the lows here. You know, back here in my newsletter, I had the same setup here on this week right here. It was the same concept. So we had this is more than 1 week, by the way. I just compressed it. We had broken down after we're being in a consolidation phase for weeks. We broke down, right? We went all the way lower, but look where we closed. Value formed all the way below all of this for that week. This very tiny arrow, you can barely see it maybe on the screen, but there's a little arrow right here. This is where the week closed. Back within this value area. So all it did was literally, look at what it did. It tested, rejected this value. It's exactly what I'm explaining, but in the opposite direction. We built value, held back above this prior value. So all of this was underwater, rejected, sold off. So then we had capitulation, but then bull stepped in, absorbed all this net selling, right? Kind of like what I'm saying above here at the other one. And then closed above it. The next week we formed the week here. We rejected the prior value area, all of this, and we just squeezed past all of this. You see that? So again, value forming underneath, above or below. If you're short, you want to see value form above a large area. If you're long, then you want to see volume form below a large area after having failed. And then hold and close above it, or hold and close below it, depending on which direction you're betting on. And the next week, the tell is when retest and the profile is very thin. Because if it's thin, it means it's rejecting those prices and accepting prices higher. And that's a higher time frame swing kind of parameter for me. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like the newsletter is free. Like the information that I'm sharing in terms of like what I'm explaining right now, it's free. Like I don't charge for that. It's all that information I'm giving as far as like my insight and what I'm looking for, my triggers and everything. It's free. Like the only thing that's paid for is the levels that I'm looking at exclusively, like the shorter term levels and the plans around those levels. And it's like, but everything that I just explained is free. I don't charge for that. The higher time frame analysis, which is probably the most important, I don't charge for it. You can subscribe to it and it's completely free. I give my lean, I give what I'm seeing and everything, and in hopes that, you know, that kind of teaches people something as to what I'm seeing. Not that it's right or wrong, it's just the way I trade. And then you can kind of use what works for you and then adapt it to your framework, you know? But I explain all of it for free. And then whatever I charge for is $11, is just pretty much free. Like, $11 ain't shit. Like, let's be honest. Like, I don't charge anything for this. It's $11. I don't care to make money rich off of it or make a ton of money. I don't even have that many subs. It's free pretty much. Like if one of my trade plans makes you money, it pays for fucking a year or more, because it for the year is like $120. So you take one trade that I give, a setup that I provide, and it pays for the year. So it's pretty much free. People don't subscribe and stuff, I mean, that's fine. You know, I don't really expect them to. I just like doing it. I do it anyway. So if I type it out and write it, it's reinforcing my plans, it's reinforcing my learning, it's reinforcing my framework, it's making everything repetitive. I learn from doing this every day and it makes me better. So, but I explained it all there. If you have any questions, I mean, let me know. I can build more on it. Just subscribe. Cool. Cool. Like today I mean, look, all my plans for today, they were at lower prices. So hence I haven't taken any trades. 60.85 is the first plan. Second plan is a little lower at 48s. And the last plan, which is my least favorite, was the 914 breakout. We did that overnight. So I didn't really get to take a trade. And that's fine. But yeah, I mean, I hope it provides value, you know, just like the most important part is the analysis on the higher time frame. I feel like that's the most important for me. That provides the most value, which I try to provide during the preface, like the beginning. Because the idea is like, if I make those every day and you read them, like at some point, you won't even need to read my newsletter. Like it'll be pointless to, I mean, so it'll be, you won't even need to find what my trade plans are. Like the preface will give you like the bigger picture is going to give you everything that I'm sharing, and you won't even need my plans. Like you'll have your own plans based on your bigger picture analysis that don't have to be mine at all. And paying for it will be pointless. Like there's no reason for it, you know? But the higher time frame stuff is the most important because everyone has their own way of trading. But if you always keep the bigger picture in mind, you know, you learn where to trade, where your risk is best taken, right? Where the money you're trading intraday, like where is your money worth the most in terms of value that you're going to get in return for that trade? Like there's areas within the market that provide the most value. It's not always price is not always the most fair to be trading at. And that's what I said this morning. Like we're above a lot of value. I'm not really interested in buying levels here. It can work for short-term trades, but I'm just not interested. Anyway, I'm gonna head out for the day. I'm gonna set some price alerts in case we do dip, but other than that, I'm just gonna end the day here. Not gonna have any more trades to take unless we put in that failed breakdown that I said earlier. Would be down here on the S&P too, or on here. If we do, great. If not, then tomorrow's a new day. I'll see you guys on the next one. See you, Gabriel. Have a good rest of your day. Yeah, thanks, man. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow, but I will not be here next week. I'm gone all next week.